They don't have room for God in their hearts. They had ears, but not to hear. They had eyes, not to see. They're blind, spiritual. They judge this woman based upon what? Externals. But Jesus is what? Based upon what? Internal, which is spiritual knowledge. See, look at, how they just communicating each other. Jesus keeps saying that I'm God. I am the one who gave the law to you. And Jewish people, this leader says, no. You are not the one who gave us the law and life. Why? They're totally blind because of the law. So actually, Jesus is explaining between grace and the law. What is the difference here? So there must be a conversion. Before conversion, we must condemn by the law. In other words, before conversion, we must have conviction in our hearts. Otherwise, there is no true conversion. True conversion means what? You need to be born again, Jesus said in chapter 3. Born again in water and the Spirit. Water, we came from our parents, physically. But now we must be born again in spirit. We must convict by the law of Moses. According to the Romans, the law reveals that we are sinners and our wickedness. But what do they do here? If you don't have room for God, you are acting like Pharisees and Jewish leaders. I'm not an exception. I'll do the same thing. Because this is just a knowledge and book. God wrote it long time ago. It has nothing to do with my life. Yeah, I heard many times, God wrote it. God used people to write down. See, that's not a conviction. We must have a conviction before we need to be converted. Conversion doesn't come. We have to have a strong conviction in our hearts. Jesus is my Lord. He died for my sins. He's the one who's going to save me. He's the one who's going to get me to heaven. That much strong conviction in our lives, we don't change. How can we say people that I am a Christian? I need to sacrifice something to show them. Why? Because of Jesus. He wants me to. But I'll do the same thing, exactly what the common people are doing. How can we say we are Christian? See, that's the dialogue between Jewish people and Jesus Christ. And then, next thing, from verse 12, he's comparing himself to the sun, rising sun. Okay? Sun is the center of this universe. Sun is the what? Source of life. So as God. God is the center of this whole universe in this world. So he's comparing himself to the rising sun. Because sun goes down, sun rises up. revolving, right? So when sun comes up, no darkness. You know, the sun is a symbol of Jewish peoples for God. In Psalms 94 or 97, I'm not clear, they said that our Jehovah, God is Son, Son of God. Not S-O-N, S-U-N. So he's explaining. Because you judge people by externals, but you should know that because you are the expert of the law of Moses. But I am the one who gave the law to you to reveal your wickedness, to reveal that you are sinners. But they're totally blind. They have no ears to hear. And then he said, you have no room in your heart to believe me. So we need to ask about his conversation. He's not only telling people, blind people. We need to wash up our eyes and even open our hearts widely. And then we need to ask ourselves, am I a true believer? Why am I living like this? Why can I not change? Do I really understand the will of God, the purpose of God in my life? Why do I need to come to church? What for? Because everyone goes there? If I don't go, God is going to punish me? Is that your God? Is that my God? Keeping the law. If I don't keep the law, God is going to punish me. He will bring disasters. Is that our God? We need to ask ourselves. God is not that kind of God. If you think God is that kind of God, we need to pray again. God is a loving God. Even though we fall, He still loves us.
Amen.
He's a long, patient God. He knows what we are going through. He knows what we are doing in the darkness. Although we are sinning, He's still waiting to realize ourselves to come back. That's why He says, come down to verse 31. He's explaining to Jewish people the death and life. I am going to die. They never understand here. Previous verses, 28. When you have lifted up the Son of Man on the cross, then you will understand that I am He. I am, right there, ego eimi. I am God. I am who I am. I am that I am. I do nothing on my own, but say only what the Father taught me. And the one who sent me is with me. He has not deserted me, for I always do what pleases Him. Then many who heard Him say these things believed in Him. See, He didn't give any clear answer to Jewish people when they brought a woman, sinners. To them, she's very much sinners. Bad one. But He didn't give them clear answer. Why? Because the truth, you don't have to give them an explanations. The truth that you believe, you have to tell people, this is the truth. I don't have to answer you. When I read the Bible, this convicted my heart. I believe this. Then you just give them. That's what He did exactly, Jesus.